Hi students, welcome back to Evershine Coaching Center. Myself, Shah Faisal sir here. Dear students, today we are going to continue the chapter of class 10 Karnataka State Board SSLC Social Science, chapter number 1, the advent of Europeans to India. Dear students, in the previous class we have already discussed the introduction of this chapter, and also we have discussed about the place Constantinople and then about Portuguese and Dutch. These are the European trading companies who came to India for the purpose of trade, and later on how they declined their power in India. And today we are going to discuss about English. Today we are going to discuss about English. Is this clear? Yes. See children, here in English how exactly they have how they came to India and how they established their power in India. Are you getting my point? So that we are going to discuss about English in brief. See children, I just want one thing from your end. I want please children open your textbooks, keep pencil and textbook and one rough note ready. Whatever the points I am going to write down here, you have to jot down those key points so that it will be very much helpful in the final day during your revisions. Got it? And underline those lines whichever I say you people as an important. As well, you have to make a note of the questions which I am giving you here as a running notes. Now let's begin about English. On 31st December 1600, when children? On 31st December, the dates are important in social. On 31st December 1600, what happened? Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with eastern countries for 15 years. Are you getting children? On 31st December, it is one of the very historical moment. Are you getting my point? This date is very important. On 31st December 1600, Queen Elizabeth, who children? Queen Elizabeth, what she did? She issued a royal charter. She has issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company. She has given the permission. She has seek the permission for East India Company. East India Company is going to do the trade with whom? With eastern countries. With whom children? With eastern countries. So Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter. Issued a royal charter authorizing. उसके अंदर क्या लिखा था? उस चार्टर के अंदर मतलब कि उस लेटर के अंदर क्या लिखा था कि ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी अब ईस्टर्न कंट्रीज के साथ में ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी is going to do the business with eastern countries for the period of 15 years. So this was the agreement. This was the agreement. Are you getting my point? Did you understood this? Why this event is important? Why this date is important? What happened in 1600, 31st December? Queen Elizabeth issued a royal charter. Understood? In that royal charter, what has been authorized? What has been written in that? East India Company is going to do the business with eastern countries for a period of 15 years. Is this simple? Understood? Good. From this, English came to India. From this, English came to India. Are you getting my point? Did you understood how the entry was done of the English in India? So this was the entry. Through this, they came to India. The company started the business formally in 1613. 1600, they seek the permission, but they started their business from when? 1613. It's nothing but 1613. It means after 13 years, they started doing the business. Are you getting my point? Did you understood? The company started the business formally in the year 1613. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission to English to establish their first warehouse or factory at Surat. See children, again this is very important. See children, here each and every point is important. Each and every point is important, should not forget it. Understood? Issued has, English has issued a royal charter. Understood? Then at that time, who was the ruling party? Jahangir. Jahangir was the ruling party. So that letter came to whom? Queen Elizabeth. That letter came to Jahangir court. It came to Jahangir. Are you getting, children? So after that, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission. Jahangir क्या किए बेटा? Royal permission को issue किए. He issued a royal permission. Are you getting my point? Are you getting, children? Issued a royal permission to English. वो permission दे दिया. Royal permission दे दिया. किसको? English वालों को. Did you understood? The Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission to English. Of what purpose? क्या permission दिया वो? What he gave the permission? That yes, you can come and do the business. You can come and open your factory. You can come and do the trade with us. Understood? So, sir, the Mughal Emperor Jahangir gave the royal permission for the English to start their business. So, what they did? They first warehouse, that is also called as factory. The first warehouse or factory where they established at Surat. At Surat. So English established the first warehouse or factory at Surat. This is your fill in the blank question, children. Here two questions can be asked for you people here. The first question is, who gave a royal permission for the English to establish their warehouse in India? Who is Jahangir? He is the Mughal Emperor. You should not write only Jahangir. You should write the Mughal Emperor Jahangir. You have to write this full name. Understood? Who authorized the royal permission to do the business with Eastern countries? Queen Elizabeth. Who authorized that we are going to do the business with Eastern countries? East India Company is going to do the trade. East India Company is going to do the trade with Eastern countries. Who authorized the royal permission? Queen Elizabeth. Who, after giving the permission, who seek the permission and who gave the permission for the English to do the business? Jahangir. Who asked that we are going to do the business? Queen Elizabeth. Who gave the permission? Jahangir. Any doubts? Did you understand about these two concepts? Very good. So the Mughal Emperor Jahangir issued a royal permission. He gave the permission for the English. Yes, come and do the trade with us. So English, they established their first warehouse at Surat in 1617. In 1617, after how many years? After 4 years. 1613 they started business. Then in the year 1617, Sir Thomas Roy, who is him? Sir Thomas Roy. Are you getting, children? Sir Thomas Roy arrived at the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador from the court of James I. Understood? Sir Thomas Roy came to the court of, where he came? Sir Thomas Roy. He came to the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador. Now who is he? Sir Thomas Roy. He is a royal ambassador. Are you getting, children? He is a royal ambassador who came to where? Where did he come? Jahangir's court. From where he came? He came from which place? From the court of James I. He came from the court of James I. Any doubts? समझ में आया बेटा? At that time, who was the royal ambassador? Who was the royal ambassador? Sir Thomas Roy. Who was the royal ambassador? Sir Thomas Roy was the royal ambassador who came at the court of Jahangir. He came from court of James I. He sought permission from Jahangir to establish factories in other places of Mughal Empire. Understood? Again he came and he asked the permission. Sir, already you gave the permission to us to start the warehouse at Surat. Now we want to establish still more warehouses. समझ में आया बेटा? अभी हमारे फैक्ट्रीज हमें अभी बढ़ाना चाहती हैं. Still we want to implement. Still we want to expand our business with you people. We want the permission. Did you understood? Already एक फैक्ट्री तो स्टार्ट हो चुकी है. अभी उन्होंने क्या करना चाह रहे हैं? उनका बिजनेस को अभी एक्सपेंड करना चाह रहे हैं. They want to expand their business. Understood? So he sought permission from Jahangir to establish factories in other places to Mughal Empire. Understood? Next, the English established factories that after that, what Sir Thomas Roy did? What was his work? He asked permission. He asked permission to implement their business. To implement their business and start establishing more factories, and they want to establish more number of factories. Any doubts? So what Jahangir did? He gave the permission even for that. He gave the permission even for that. Understood, children? So the English established factories at, which are the places English established their factories? At Agra, Ahmedabad and Broch. So these are the places English established their factories after Surat. Any doubts? Which was the first warehouse of English? Surat. And later on? Agra, Ahmedabad and Broch. Is this clear? Good. Next, in the year 1639, which year, children? 1639. The English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri and established a strong fort named St. George Fort. Very, very, very important, children. You have to underline this word. It's very important. In 1613, it is also a historical moment. Are you getting, children? In 1639, now they shown their face, original face they have shown now. English. नहीं क्या बेटा, अब ऐसे होना क्या वास्ते? बिजनेस करने के वास्ते. अब क्या करना शुरू किए? कैप्चर करना शुरू किए. They have started now occupying the place, capturing the place. Are you getting my point? Now in 1639, English took Madras. English, what they did, children? They took Madras. From whom? From whom they have took the Madras? From the king of Chandragiri. From the king of Chandragiri. And they established a strong fort. उस जगह में एक बड़ा महल खड़ा किए. Understood? They established in that place a strong fort that is named as St. George Fort. उसका नाम क्या दिए? St. George Fort. That is the first fort of English in India. Understood? मद्रास को कैप्चर करने के बाद मद्रास में एक स्ट्रॉन्ग फोर्ट को खड़ा किए. उसका नाम क्या दिए? सेंट जॉर्ज फोर्ट. सेंट जॉर्ज फोर्ट. Any doubts? English took Madras from home? From the king of Chandragiri and established a strong fort that is named as St. George Fort. Did you understood this year? 1639? Yes, children. And later, Charles II. Who next? Charles II. Who is he? He is the Prince of England. Who is he? He is the Prince of England. Gave Bombay on an annual rent of 10 pounds to East India Company in 1668. 1668, what he did? Charles II, he is the Prince of England. What he did? He gave Bombay on an annual rent of 10 pounds to East India Company. समझ में आया बेटा? मद्रास को चलाने के लिए they want to run Madras. They want to run Bombay. Understood? They have to do the business in Bombay. So he gave for East India Company. To run the business where? In Bombay. They want to run the business in Bombay. So they gave how much rupees? Annual rent at that time. Annual rent of 10 pounds. To East India Company in 1668. Did you understood? Understood? He took as a rent to do the business over there. In 1668, Charles II, he is the Prince of England. He want to run the business in Bombay, so he gave East India Company as annual rent of 10 pounds. Annual rent of 10 pounds. Got it? Are you getting, children, this event? Very good. Next, in the year 1690, next what happens? In the year 1690, what happened? The English purchased 3 villages. English purchased, they didn't capture, no. Because now they have enough money with them. Correct, no? Now they have enough money with them. Now they started purchasing also. So they purchased in 1690, English purchased what? 3 villages. They purchased 3 villages. Who purchased 3 villages? English. Which are the villages name? That is Sutanauti. That is the name of the village. Sutanauti. Next is Kalikata and Govindapura. And Govindapura. Did you understood? Sutanauti, Kalikata and Govindapura on the banks of Hooghly River. Where these 3 villages are present? On the bank of Hooghly River. It is there in the bank of Hooghly River. And what they did? Simply they purchased those villages? No, they want to build one more, a very big fort. That is the reason they took those 3 villages. They took the 3 villages near the bank of Hooghly River and they built Fort William. Which is the name? Fort William. St. George Fort they did. After purchasing, they built the St. George Fort. After purchasing, they have built the St. George Fort. Then you have to think and answer. St. George Fort को उन्होंने बनाया, खरीद के बनाया? नहीं, लड़के बनाया. They captured that place. Understood? They took the place from King of who? Chandragiri. King of Chandragiri. And they established St. George Fort. Which is the first fort? Which is the second fort? St. William Fort. Fort William. Fort William. Did you understood? So, where is St. George Fort? St. George Fort is located in Madras. Very good. This is also a question. Where it is located? In Madras. And where the Fort William is located? Near the bank of Hooghly. Near the bank of Hooghly. Hooghly River. Got it? Next, the city of Calcutta grew around this fort. After that, Calcutta city has grew. तब तक Calcutta करने का नाम नहीं था. ये बनने के बाद में इसके सराउंडिंग में जो सिटी बिल्ड हुआ उसका नाम कैलकट्टा. उसका नाम क्या दिए? कैलकट्टा बोल के दिए. Got it? The city of Calcutta grew around this fort. ये जो फोर्ट विलियम जो है इसके सराउंडिंग में जो सिटी डेवलप हुआ उसके बाद में that city is named as Calcutta. Now understood how Calcutta came? Understood? After they built Fort William, around that city has been grown. That city name is Calcutta. That city name is Calcutta. Did you understood? Good. Now, by the 17th century, by the which century? 17th century, the English had established Bombay, Madras and Calcutta as the centers of their presidencies. Understood? अब इनके हाथ में 17th century तक क्या हो गया था? Which are the places are under them? Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Now these are the places which is under English. So English established Bombay, Madras and Calcutta as their centers of their presidencies, main trading centers. Main centers, they made those cities as main centers. By the later part of 18th century, the English made Calcutta as their what? As their capital city. Did you understood? Did you got it? So English made Calcutta as their capital city. They implemented their own civil and criminal procedure codes in the areas that were under their control. They made their own law. After that, what English did? English made their own laws. Understood? If any crime happens, what should be the punishment? English made. Everything criminal, civil. Understood? Let it be a good one or let it be a bad one. Whatever it is. Every justice, every judgment will be done through whom? English. वो जितने एरियाज को वो उनके कंट्रोल में है, वो सारे एरियाज को इनकी हुकूमत चल रही है. Did you understood? The places where all they have a control, the places where all they have occupied with them. Understood? Which are the places they have occupied? So those all places now under the British, the places which are under the control of British, now their judgment will be followed. Their own civil and criminal laws will be followed. Did you understood? Did you got my point? Now almost English started ruling almost our country. Through this, English started ruling our country. Some part of our country is been started ruling through whom? Through British. Now they established their power. Now from this we can say that they established their base in India. They established their base in India. Understood? From where it started? Because of whom English came to India? Mughal Emperor Jahangir. He gave the permission. That is the reason these all things has been happened. Any doubts? Did you understood the concept? Got it? Take down the questions. Make down the question. Take down the question. Who issued a royal charter? Who issued means what? Gave. Understood? Some peoples of English, they wanted to do the business. So Queen Elizabeth during that time, she was the main person. So she gave the permission. Yes, you go and do the business over there. Understood? Actually Queen Elizabeth was a very good lady. But she doesn't know that their own party peoples may do this kind of thing. Understood? Who issued a royal charter authorizing the East India Company to trade with eastern countries for 15 years? Question mark. For 15 years? Question mark. In which year? Who issued a royal charter? Queen Elizabeth. In which year? On 31st December 1600. Answer. Got it? Next question. When did the East India Company started doing the business formally in India? When? 1613. Next question, very important. Who issued a royal permission to English to establish their first warehouse in India? Who issued a royal permission to English to establish their first warehouse in India? The Mughal Emperor Jahangir. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir is the answer. Very good. Next question. Where did the English first establish their warehouse? Where did the English first establish their warehouse or factory? In India. In India. Where? Surat. Surat. Next question. Who came to the court of Jahangir? Who came to the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador? As a royal ambassador. Who came to the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador? From the court of James I. From the court of James I. Take down the question first. Who came to or who arrived to the court of Jahangir as a royal ambassador from the court of James I. From the court of James I. Next question. Why did Sir Thomas Roy came to the court of Jahangir? Why did Sir Thomas Roy came to the court of Jahangir? Next question. Write the places where English established their factories. Write the places, where the English established their factories. English established their factories. Where all the English established their factories? You should write Surat, Agra, Ahmedabad and Bhuj. Even you have to include Surat also. Got it? Next question. When did the English took Madras? When did the English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri? When did the English took Madras from the king of Chandragiri? Question mark. Continue. What did they establish? What did they establish in Madras? In Madras. What did they establish in Madras? See children, actually here the English took Madras, no? They have taken the Madras. Maybe here it's not sure, we cannot say that they didn't do any war kind of a thing. They didn't do a war kind of a thing. They took Madras actually. They didn't do any war over there. They took Madras. समझ में बेटा? खाली उन्होंने मद्रास किंग ऑफ चंद्रगिरी के पास से लिए थे. It's not like we cannot say like they have fought like that, they have taken the revenge or fighting or something, war has been done and they took Madras. Understood? They took Madras from the king of Chandragiri. In which year? In 1639. What did they establish? A strong fort named as St. George Fort. Good. Even this is also like not like they have captured, they took. Understood? By paying or something, they have taken that place. Next question. Who gave Bombay on an annual rent of 10 pounds? Who gave Bombay on an annual rent of 10 pounds to East India Company? Who gave Bombay on an annual rent of 10 pounds to East India Company? To East India Company. Question mark. In which year? In which year? Charles II, the Prince of England. Got it? 1668. Next question. Why did English purchased 3 villages? Why did English purchase 3 villages? Question mark. Name them. Name them. Question mark. What did they build? What did they build in that place? What did they build in that place? Got it? Next question. Which city has grew? Which city has grew? Which city has grew around the Fort William? Around the Fort William. Which city has grew around the Fort William? Next question. Which were the centers of their presidencies? Which were the centers of their presidencies? Which were the centers of their means of English presidencies? You write as of English presidencies. Which were the centers of English presidencies by the 17th century? By the 17th century. Which were the centers of English presidencies by the 17th century? Bombay, Madras and Calcutta. Very good. Next question. Which city? You can write like this. Which was the capital city of English? Which was the capital city of English by the later part of 18th century? By the later part of 18th century. Which was the capital city of English by the later part of 18th century? Calcutta. Calcutta. 18th century. By the later part of 18th century. Got it? Next question. Next question. What did the English implemented? What did the English implemented by the later part of 18th century? What did the English implemented by the later part of 18th century? What did they implemented by the later part of 18th century? They made their own civil and criminal procedure codes in the areas that were under their control. Right, children? Did you understood? So in this, the important thing is Queen Elizabeth, she issued a royal charter that English East India Company is going to do the business with eastern countries for the period of how many years? 15 years. Then Jahangir, he issued a royal permission that English can do the business with eastern countries or with us. Correct? Next, Sir Thomas Roy, he came and what he did? He seek the permission that, sir, we want to do business with you and we want to implement the business still more. We want to establish our factories still more. Understood? Sir Thomas Roy, he is the royal ambassador. He seek the permission from the Jahangir that we want to implement our business. Then English established their factories at Surat, Agra, Ahmedabad and Broch. Any doubts? And after that English what they did? They took Madras from the king of Chandragiri and they built St. George Fort. St. George Fort. They took Madras from king of Chandragiri. Correct, children? See, events. It's so easy. Understood? After what they did? They built a St. George Fort over there. And later on, understood, they started doing their business. How? Then later on they gave Bombay for annual rent of 10 pounds for Charles II. For Charles II, for the Prince of England. Understood? Now they are earning. Now they started earning. Correct? After that what happened? The English purchased 3 villages. Now Madras came in their hand. Now 3 villages also came with their hand. And the 3 villages is present near the bank of Hooghly River, and they made Fort William. And later on near Fort William one city has been developed. It has been grown. That is called as Calcutta. Correct? And after that what happened? By the 17th century, under the English, which other cities came? Calcutta, Madras and Bombay. So these are the places which were under their control, and they made those places as their centers of their presidencies. Correct now children? By the later part of 18th century, see 17th and 18th century was the historical moment for English. Now by the later part of 18th century what happened? They implemented Calcutta and they made that as their capital city. And after that they started ruling those places. Got it? So easy. Can you see this? See children, just by listening to the explanation itself, you can complete even your revisions also. Got it? I hope you all have liked this video, enjoyed this session. If you have liked the session, understood, do not forget to comment how was this class and still how we can do the best for you people. You can let us know children. So do not forget to subscribe our YouTube channel Evershine Coaching Groups. Click like, share and comment. Thank you children. Wish you all the best of luck. Next session we are going to discuss about French. Okay. Till that time, bye bye. Keep watching.